You're listening to the official podcast of Bloodstock Open Air Festival. Bloodstock Radio.
Multiple selves resonate. Yes, hello, good evening and welcome to Bloodstock Radio, the official podcast of the Bloodstock Open Air Festival. Opening up there with Pit of Consciousness from Bloodstock 2020 band Ginger. My name is Squatter, this is podcast number 87, and I think it's fair to say that quite a bit has gone on since podcast number 86, and the world is a very different place. But for the next hour, we're going to be doing exactly what we always do here on Bloodstock Radio, playing you some great music and chatting to some bands that will be performing for us at this year's festival. So it is business as usual, and indeed, until we're told otherwise, it is business as usual for the whole festival team as well. So for our first batch of festival news, I'm just going to let you hear the official statement from Festival Director Adam Gregory, and as the Metal to the Masses initiative has also been affected, there's also an update on that from Simon Hall.
Festival news.
Hey Bloodstock World, Adam here. I want to give you a very quick update on recent events. Obviously we've all seen the news, social media and everything else about what's going on at the moment, and from Bloodstock's point of view, we wanted to do it the way that Bloodstock always does it. So here's our official Bloodstock update. Due to a number of queries to our social media platforms about the impact of COVID-19 virus, we wish to assure our audience that as we stand, Bloodstock 2020 will be going ahead as planned this August. The safety and health of all visitors and staff is, as always, our main priority, and we will be implementing recommendations and instructions appropriately based on official guidance from Public Health England, the UK government and local public health bodies, as further information obviously unfolds. In the meantime, we are working tirelessly to bring to you the best Bloodstock experience to date in order to celebrate our 20th year. We look forward to seeing you all this August for what will be one hell of a momentous weekend. You can follow the most up-to-date information on the coronavirus that is available on the website as well, where more information will become available. So Bloodstock 2020 is happening. So in the meantime, grab your tickets. Any questions, don't feel afraid to ask, and we'll update you as and when. So be safe.
Metal to the Masses update.
Hey guys, Simon here doing a report for the Metal to the Masses, just giving you a heads up on what's happening. Okay, so we're taking guidance from the government with regards venues being open, and that's obviously not going to be at least for a month, I don't think, which obviously has put the kibosh on a lot of the Metal to the Masses shows leading up to the finals. There was talk in regards of a lot of the venues doing live streaming, or studios doing live streaming, or somehow some way of getting live streaming together. However, that may also be curtailed further down the line if they too put an embargo or a conditioning on how many people we can have together at any one time. So again, look, just bear with us, and everybody just needs to take a breath and just we'll get there. One way or the other, we'll get there. And I'll let you know as and when how we're going to get through this. Just stay healthy, stay strong, stay positive. Try and get as much vitamin D and vitamin C in you as humanly possible. The best form of vitamin D is putting your face out the window or standing in the back garden and taking in this glorious sunshine, which I intend to do in a moment. And just stick to the advice given, really, which is stay the fuck indoors. All right? Okay, look after yourselves, and I'll give you an update as and when. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bloodstock Radio.
So that is the official situation as it stands. You can find the full text of the official Bloodstock Festival policy concerning the current situation in the info section on the official Bloodstock Festival website. That is www.bloodstock.uk.com, where you can also get your festival tickets. And I can also let you know that we are going to be having our next band announcement for Bloodstock Festival 2020 next Tuesday. That's April the 7th, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, so onwards we go. Later in the show, we've got a few snippets from the latest fans meet and greet Q&A session that was held last month in Derby. And we've also got some updates from a few of the, let's say, slightly sillier Bloodstock bands coming up a bit later in the show, with some new music from Raised by Owls and an exclusive interview regarding a shocking announcement that was made by Evil Scarecrow just yesterday. But before all of that, we've got our big interview, as this week it's Nick Holmes from our Bloodstock 2020 Saturday special guest, Paradise Lost. Up next on Bloodstock Radio.
point of view.
Okay, next up on Bloodstock Radio, we're having a chat to Nick from Paradise Lost. How are you, sir?
All right, yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah, all good.
Cool.
You know, well, all right.
Yeah, I say, I normally start off these interviews by talking about Bloodstock and talking about the pastimes people play, but I think in the days we're in at the moment, you really do have to ask, how are you? You know, how are you, and how are you coping with this crazy situation that we find ourselves in at the moment?
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, I spend a lot of time at home anyway. If we're not on tour, then I'm at home anyway. So, but I mean, it's strange when I go out or we go to the supermarket or anything like that. That's when it's a bit peculiar, because like the social distancing things is strange, like in the supermarkets. And so yeah, and the news are just, yeah, it's like something from a film at the moment. But it's, everyone in my household is okay, and hope we'll just see. I mean, it's fingers crossed, see what happens in the next few months.
Yeah, of course it is the same for everything. And I mean, I say we are, at the moment, the message is coming out of Bloodstock HQ is that we're going ahead, all systems go, and obviously we will take the advice of the government on that as to whether that can actually happen or not. But let's keep a positive slant on it, and let's talk about it as if we're going. So Bloodstock then, you've played quite a few times now. So when I say the word Bloodstock to you, what's your sort of memories of that, and what sort of images does that conjure up for you?
I mean, it's obviously got bigger and bigger every year, and I think for me it's my favourite kind of British rock festival for sure. I mean, I've got many good memories of it. The last few times I've had to leave very early after the show to go to other concerts, so it's a shame, because I also have a lot of friends go as well every year, so it's always nice to hang out and have a drink, etc. But yeah, the last couple of times I've sort of been in and out, which is a shame. But yeah, I mean, I've done it with Bloodbath as well, and no, it's a great gig, and everyone involved seems to really enjoy it,
Yeah, I think the last time you were there, 2018 with Bloodbath, I think. But yeah, I think we grabbed you 2016. It wasn't that long ago that you were there. Yeah. That's what you sort of find with festivals, isn't it? When you're in festival season and that, it is kind of in and out of a lot of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but especially with the British festivals, because we do have a lot of friends travel to them, and you don't really get to. And obviously, if you're playing, you can't be getting hammered, so it's just like you can't sort of get the downtime you'd like, and then maybe you might have a flight at like 4 a.m. from Birmingham Airport in the morning after that. So it's it's a shame. Just it's nice if you have a hotel and you can have a night out after the show or whatever. That's really nice. That's but it's been a bit of a luxury of late, I think that.
Yeah, you say about not getting hammered. We actually interviewed Elevati last year at the festival, and I asked Kriegel about the last time that they played, and he said, "Oh, you had to ask me that." And apparently, the last time they played about 10 years ago, he got absolutely wrecked the night before in Germany. Couldn't remember anything. So when I asked him, "What are your memories of Bloodstock?" he was like, "I don't remember it at all."
Yeah, I know. I mean, I remember doing that kind of thing years and years ago, but I just can't do it now. It's I can only burn the candle at one end now.
Yeah. Well, you say years and years ago. I mean, Christ, I'm looking at your stats and that lot, and the amount of time you guys have been going for, from a very early age as well, like literally straight out of school into doing this. So that's a hell of a career to have been done that. And also you've got, pretty much the same lineup other than your Spinal Tap rotating drummers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But so how the hell have you managed to maintain that lineup and that friendship, and to just maintain that whole lifestyle of everything for 32 years?
I mean, we started the band as friends. We didn't, it wasn't like we answered an ad in a window or something. But so we started as friends, and we had common ground in that we just loved the music. That we just loved thrash and death metal, heavy metal. That's what, and we met up and we hung out as a result of that. So it was very humble sort of beginnings, and that sort of kept us through. But once you start the cycle of recording and touring albums, it's like 3 or 4 years, and that goes incredibly fast. And before you know it, it was 10 years, and even now I can't believe, I remember the 10th anniversary was like, wow, 10 years, and now it's 32. Yeah. I mean, also, but when you're not touring, touring could be like 6 weeks or 7 weeks, but when you're not doing that, when you're at home, you don't really see each other much, because we all live in different parts of England, and so it's not like we all live in the same house like Slade do. So, but I think the longer you're together, people just presume you all live in the same house with adjoining rooms and stuff. But but no, it's you just got to know when to press each other's buttons and when not to press. I mean, you get to know each other's, whims, etc. So it's, but yeah, it's a hell of a long time. Yeah, you're right.
It is, absolutely. And I say, I mean, I've still got mates that I'm mates with from school, from when I'm just a little bit younger than you. You've got a couple of years. I mean, that's about it. But and we're still going to gigs together and still doing all that. So I suppose it's the same sort of thing.
It's exactly the same thing, because I mean, if we're doing, festivals have become more and more, so you do more and more festivals. So it's almost like a weekend away with the guys, and you go away, you have a bit of a laugh and do a show, a couple of drinks, then fly back home, and that's a really nice thing. And, we do. And ultimately, we do still have a laugh, we still enjoy hanging out, and that's it. We still enjoy that aspect of it. I think if we didn't have a laugh, then, that's when the cracks start appearing in bands, when they don't really get along and they don't laugh at each other, etc. So I think like any relationship, it's about being able to have a laugh together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, and it's the same with my wife as well, I think,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's the same with friendships, relationships, and that's just that, when things like touring, and when you have got a sort of almost like a business pressure behind it as well, because you're doing it for the music, you're doing it for the love of it, but when a lot of people have this sort of image of touring as being all glamorous and that, but it's not. It's hard work, and you're spending a lot of time with the same people, and sometimes people aren't feeling it, sometimes people aren't, and as you say, it is a long, because it's very rare that a band that have got such a stable lineup for that, and that's the reason, because there are fractures that appear.
Yeah, it is. It's tough, and I think if a young band's put together like in a touring scenario very quickly, it's almost like Big Brother, because they don't know each other particularly, and they don't know what makes each other tick. But I mean, we were sort of together for quite a few years before we did any sort of heavy touring or anything. We did occasional shows, but I think the first heavy tour we did was probably in America in 1993. I think that's the first one we went to, where we were all, and that was hard, and it wasn't each other, it was just the general circumstances that we were put in, because no one had any money, and it was a bit of a hard tour for us to do, but yeah, it's like I said, we started out as mates, and that sort of continued, and my childhood friends are still my childhood friends, and they've kind of grown old alongside the band as well, and we're all still mates when we all see each other, like Bloodstock, for example. So yeah, it's ironically, the music's very dark and miserable, but the humour probably kept us together, really.
Yeah, it's quite good that you're giving us the other side of this, because on the last podcast we chatted to Connor from Conjurer, and they're literally, they just started going a few years now, and they've just done their first American tour, and I'm obviously asking him the similar sort of questions, but from the other end of it, as how are you all finding touring for the first time, and how are you, because there's such a big emphasis on mental health now as well, and things like that, and about looking after each other and making sure that everyone's okay physically and mentally and stuff like that. So to see someone, from the other end of it, I suppose, has been doing it for all those years, it's great to get that sort of paradox between the two.
I think touring is, you just got to look after yourself, I mean, because the thing is, when you're a young band, you're given this alcohol every single night, it's just there, and you tend to think, because it's there, you got to drink everything, which we certainly did, for this. Well, we still like a drink, but I mean, nothing like it used to be like. But so you tend to drink every night, and then you got the hangover, and then that's the worst thing, because you're touring, you got to go on stage, you got to be positive, you got to feel good, etc., etc. You don't really party until 7 a.m, blah blah. So yeah, I think especially younger bands, and although that said, younger bands I know now, they're very professional, they don't seem to even drink now like we used to drink, but I think the temptation was there, especially when we started, and everyone was just getting hammered every single night, and it catches up with you, I mean, when you get a bit older, you just can't do it, but it's it can be a hard life, but you just got to look after yourself. I think plenty of sleep, it's really important.
Yeah, I think from our side of the barrier as well, as a fan, it definitely does get harder as the years go on.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, I mean, it's always like, I mean, I always associate concerts with Saturday nights, because when we were kids going out to gigs, we'd always go out Saturday night, we'd have a few drinks Saturday night, and then you'd had all Sunday to get over it. But when you're on tour, you're playing Sunday night as well, and Monday night probably. So you try and make it as close to Saturday night as you can get it, but without a hangover, But,
yeah.
You're better off just kind of say, right, I'll tell you what, I'll have a glass of wine and that's it. I'm off to bed at 12:30.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
cool. So moving forward to the album then, and to the obviously the record production and the writing of that and the recording process. How's that changed over the years? And is it still the same? Still mainly you and Greg doing the writing and the music and things like that, or has that process changed any?
No, we still do the same process. I mean, we've been using file sharing system that we've been doing that for many years now, and it's pretty productive. I mean, Greg writes all the music at home, and then he sends me music. Then I mess around with them here and I write lyrics, and then we just bounce things backwards and forwards till we get to a finished result. But we're not a kind of band that writes many songs and then decides which ones we're going to use. We tend to just trim the fat off, for want of a better word, and then we just we just make them the songs we need for the album. That's it, and everything else kind of just any old riffs kind of get shelved or thrown away. And so, but yeah, it's more constructive to write like that, because you have time to listen to what you've done and play it back to yourself in different scenarios, see if you still like it. Sometimes you can get carried away with songs that you think are great, and then in the morning they just sound rubbish, So it's good to kind of live with sort of stuff a little bit to see if it still works after a few days,
So we've got the new album Obsidian. This is going to be your 16th album, so there's that's a good milestone for you as well. So and that's going to be coming out on May the 15th. And I saw your press release saying that you were you're going to stick with that release date. Obviously, Nuclear Blast did offer you a different one with everything that's going on. So what sort of decisions were involved in that?
I mean, they were just talking about moving it, really, just putting it forward. But I mean, as far as music, you can enjoy any time. The situation with people at home shouldn't affect people enjoying the album or getting hold of the album, really. So I mean, I just thought, well, if you got electricity, you can enjoy it, and especially people at home, they could probably concentrate on it more because there's no distractions. So it's obviously the release is the same, but usually we would probably do a concert to tie in. Like a full album launch concert, which we had done for the last few years, but this time it's actually been moved to the 17th of September, which is a massive gap. So there's plenty of time for people to learn the songs, basically. Yeah. So I mean, that's Leeds Warehouse. We're aiming at the 17th of September, and that's the full album, playing the full album at that venue, which is it's not quite our hometown, but it's close enough. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've got the Fall from Grace that we're going to hear at the end of this interview is the first single that you've released from it, and I must admit, I'm mainly a thrash fan. You're not really listened to much of your music, but I had a listen and I watched the video and that lot, and I really liked it. I mean, I'm bad for genres because you see things like gothic and you see things like and gloom, and I'm just like I never really know. So until I actually hear it, I'm just sort of like I never whether I really like what it is, but it's quite a mix of styles that you've got on the album, I believe. Yeah,
it's. I mean, the last album we did was it was very much a doom death album, and we didn't vary much from that. I mean, with this one, there's a lot of styles completely crossing over things we've done for quite a long time, really, over a couple of decades. There's styles of songs we haven't really approached since probably the kind of late 90s, early 2000s. At the same time, it's all done in it's a lot heavier than things used to be around that time. There's a lot of different singing styles. More certainly in the last one because it was purely growling, etc. But I think the song Fall from Grace is probably the closest style to the last album because it's the first song we wrote for this session. So that's probably why that is. When you first start a new writing session, you tend to just pick up the breadcrumbs from the last album, and then you change things as you go along once you get an idea of how things are going to sound. But it's pretty varied,
Yeah, and do you find that you've got more freedom in doing that now? Whereas, did you think that when you were a bit earlier there was more of an expectation of what Paradise Lost should sound like, whereas now you can sort of vary it a little bit more?
There has been at certain points in our career, and certain record labels we've been on, we felt like maybe we should do this, blah blah blah. I mean, and obviously we've done a lot of albums that have been completely different, than the last sort of 5 albums, really. But I mean, generally speaking, we've been quite lucky in that respect with record labels. We've been able to do our own thing, and we've never really felt much pressure to kind of pander to any area. We just kind of go forward and sit and sort of see what happens,
Yeah, and it's got the video with Fall from Grace as well. How much involvement do you guys have with that sort of thing? Is it just a sort of a video company comes back with a concept, or is it something that you go to them with, or how much involvement do you have?
Well, I mean, Ash Pears, who did the video, he's done quite a few videos for PL now, so he completely gets the band. He just, he knows what we're all about. He knows what we like and what we don't like. So it's always nice to have a relationship with someone who does videos. so that you can build up so they know exactly so you don't waste time with things. He knows exactly what we want. So I sort of give him the lyrics and a little bit of info about what I was thinking about, and then just let him run with it, because it's the same with the artwork as well. We just sort of give a bit of information and then just see what they come up with, So I guess it's always nice to do that. I mean, you can have specific things in mind, but if it's very specific, it never kind of comes out exactly what you have in mind, and it's harder to get to an end result. So I always like to just see what sort of people come up with,
Yeah, it's surprising the different. I say, having done these interviews over the last few years, is surprising how many bands do it differently and how many artists do it differently. Because we had Eliran Kantor, he does Testament, he's done a few Hatebreed albums, stuff like that. And I think for the upcoming Testament album and for Dark Roots of the Earth, they just sort of gave him a title and a basic concept. He came up with it, and then they got the artwork up in the studio and then wrote the album based on his artwork, and it was just crazy, So the different inspirations you can get from it.
Well, he's a great artist. We have worked with artists where it's been completely not what we thought, and it's been really a bit of a nightmare and then sometimes if they spend a lot of time, so we try and say, look, give us some early ideas, because we don't want you to go ahead and spend days and weeks, and then people don't like it, and then that's going to make some awkward emailing. So we try and sort of get as much. But I mean, artists are very precious about their work, and once they get going on it, they don't really like to change too much with it either, I think. So it's, if you like it kind of out with the gate, then you're onto a winner, but sometimes it ain't always like that, but most of the time, it works out okay.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, it's important for you guys as well to make sure that everything's the way that you want it to be. And as you get bigger and bigger, I suppose you get more say in that, and you get more control over that.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to get off on a bad footing with someone who's doing something for you. It's weirdly enough, Adrian Baxter, who did the artwork for our new album, the initial ideas he sent, we liked them immediately. I mean, I don't think we even suggested any change on anything he sent. We just loved every aspect of it. It was the easiest kind of. I mean, I think the last artwork, it was about 600 emails going backwards and forwards about it. Yeah. So I mean, and that's something else as well. I mean, in the days past, we would meet up to meet the artist, sit down with him and chat, and you get a lot more across when you look someone in the eye to talk to them. But now it's all email, and you can lose a lot as well. Just trying to get your ideas across through email, you can lose a lot of that. So it's always better if you can actually have a one-on-one with the artist. But obviously these days it's not. It doesn't happen.
So lyrically, the album, I know you're not a massive fan of analysing lyrics. We prefer the listeners to sort of take what they take from it and that, but it does seem, given the times we're talking about now, it does seem very, very apt for the times that we're in now, because there's a lot of things, the lack of control, the lack of sort of, knowledge of what's about to come and jumping into the unknown and stuff like that. So certainly the bits that I've heard of it fits very well in the world we're in at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much ambiguity in the lyrics anyway. Everything I've ever written since I was a teenager, there's always ambiguity. And I love ambiguity in lyrics. I love to read it and think, oh, are they talking about this? Are they talking about that? And then if I'm completely wrong, it's a nice surprise. So it's, I've never been really one for writing one song about one subject, although it certainly makes it a lot easier to chat about. But yeah, I mean, I start to, when I'm kind of stuck on one subject, I start to feel it becomes a little bit contrived, something in my head. So I always kind of wander off and talk about something else. Yeah. But yeah, there's a general, I think, belief in God. Religious aspects are always very interesting to me. I find it fascinating. It's something that I'm not into personally, but I still find it fascinating. I got a lot of friends who are religious, and they're very nice people, and and it's good for them. It works in that way, but I think it can be, it can be manipulated in a very negative way. And there's a lot of people seem to turn to God in the last, in their later life, which I've heard about a lot of people doing that, and I just couldn't imagine it. And it's almost like they're trying to. It's like a get out clause from a transgressional life. Yeah, that they've had previously, which before that, which is, like there's some kind of afterlife, that things are going to be better afterwards, which I always kind of find that quite amusing. Yeah. But yeah, it's it never stops being fascinating. That's the thing. It does. I kind of look at these things from 3-year increments from the last album, just a little bit older,
Yeah.
But it's always fascinating.
Well, thanks for that. And that's it's going to be out May the 15th then. So we'll hopefully be hearing you playing Bloodstock. You're on the Saturday night as a special guest behind Behemoth as well. So it's quite a nice high up on the bill for you.
Yeah, well, we're doing the Draconian Times set as well. So it's we're just playing that album from 1995. We're doing 3 shows. I think it's 3 we're doing, and we're just playing only that album. And Bloodstock's one of the ones that we're doing it at. So we did it a few years ago. We kind of did a short tour with Ghost, the band Ghost, and we did like a anniversary tour. But we've decided to do another couple of shows, just that album. But it's there's only a couple, and we're not going to do many, so it should be a bit of an exclusive, hopefully.
Yeah, cool, excellent. Well, we look forward to that, and look forward to hearing the rest of the album. So we're going to play out now with Fall From Grace. So if you could just introduce that for us, and cheers for talking to us, Nick.
Yeah, this is off our new album out on the 15th of May. The album's Obsidian. This song is called Fall From Grace.
This is Phil from Sacred Reich, and you're listening to Bloodstock Radio, and we're super excited to be playing Bloodstock 2020. It's been a long time coming.
Okay, so that was Fall from Grace from Paradise Lost from their upcoming album Obsidian, which will be released via Nuclear Blast on May the 15th. And a big thank you there to Nick for taking the time to chat to us. I really do recommend you check out that video for that song and get that album pre-ordered as well, because it's an absolute banger. While we're mentioning ordering music, just a quick shout out to Bandcamp, who did some sterling work last week to try and help out bands by waiving their fees on purchases for a whole day, so that all the money went directly to the bands in these testing times. And I think it's supportive gestures like that that are going to be remembered when this sort of stuff all calms down. And I encourage you all to take note of such support from companies like that and reward them with your custom in future, of course. Right, next up, a few weeks ago we held our second live fans meet and greet Q&A event in Derby. For those of you that aren't aware what this is, it's an event where the Bloodstock directors and other key members of the team who run the festival, like the Rock Society, Signing Tent, VIP, the bars, they're all there and open to questions from Bloodstock fans. They can ask anything they want and we answer as best we can. So we did this for the first time last year, and as we did then, the plan is to put the footage of this event online for everyone to see what was asked and what the answers were. But while that is being produced, I thought I'd just give you a quick sneak preview of the sort of things that were asked and the answers that were given. So the audio on the questions wasn't actually great on the recording, so I'll be posing the questions and then playing you the answers that were given. So first up, the panel were asked their opinion of the fans' reaction when Parkway Drive were announced last year.
Oh, we loved it. I loved it. I mean, I was at Parkway Drive when the internet basically burst. And I actually, to be fair, I've got a very thick skin, which you have to have. And sometimes you just have to turn social media off. And I actually feel sometimes sorry for the bands, because like Winston and the band was sort of like, well, we get it because we get it a lot, but we'll prove how good we are. And unfortunately, you get a year of it, then the band comes on and everybody says we're not going to watch them, and then it's the biggest crowd to date, and everybody says that's the best show they've ever seen, and that happens with every band that's moaned about. So
I think as well with regards Parkway, the fact is sort of I understand the sort of kickback with regards deathcore and, you know, and metalcore, should I say, and the fact that a band like Architects is still very much that metalcore sound. Whereas Parkway Drive, the last two albums, are very much mainstream metal. And I think that was one of the key things that sort of, you know, made us say, let's rock with it, let's go with it. And I think anyone that was there and watched it would say it was a bloody good move.
It was indeed a bloody good move. Okay, next up, the panel was asked if there were going to be many changes to the green sustainability policy that we introduced last year. And Rachel took this one.
We're still going to implement what we ran with last year. We're going to change the setup with the bins just so that they're actually more sturdy, they're much bigger. The signage this year, we're going to simplify it. We've already been assured, working with the site clear-up company, that nothing will go to landfill, so everything will obviously get recycled that we possibly can. The only thing that obviously is going to be different is purely the bars and the cups they're using, but that is something that at the minute's fluid, so we're working on that. But last year worked brilliantly, so we're going to improve on that, and it is still a work in progress. We're still looking at things with the event cleanup company, so we'll just keep posting that out on the website as we go along.
And again, I think it's also important to add on there is the fan responsibility when it comes to things. Yeah. So, you know, we are looking at the drop-off points again for anybody who doesn't want to take a tent away. Don't just leave it and abandon it, or go and put it in one of the points that these can get recycled in, because inevitably, I mean, last year we actually recycled a lot of tents that went out to good use, where people had actually either put them away, or if they hadn't put them away, hadn't damaged them when they decided to leave for the day. So, you know, do your bit as well. Use those recycling points, use those waste bins, you know, and between us we can make a huge difference. And the difference last year was massive. You know, year on year it was remarkable to see. Everybody was saying there was a lot of photos that were taken of how better it was, but there's still a lot more that can be done, and a lot more that we can all do together.
I think one of the things that I was enthused by was sort of you guys, your sort of interaction on Facebook and social media, and sort of pinpointing the fact that you were making an effort, and that other people should as well make the effort. And I think that sort of correlated around the whole campsite. It can always get better, But yeah, it was much improved, shall we say, this year, definitely.
And again, the age-old question about the size of the festival came up, and Adam Gregory addressed that one.
I think aspirationally, we're kind of happy where we are. Keeping the feel of the event is important to us, and I think you get that where it's manageable in an audience size. Where we sit at the moment, we're probably looking 25,000 tops. As great as it would be financially for people to sort of get bigger than that, I think we'd lose what Bloodstock's about if we did. You've got your big downloads and your other events that cater for 50, 60, 70 plus thousand people. I think where we sit, generally as a family, we're very happy with the size. It's manageable. We like to be able to sort of get out there and walk around and feel the event as well. And that's why we sort of do that quite often over the weekend. We want to sort of see what you guys are experiencing to make sure it's what we would expect and want ourselves. And I think if it gets too big, we'd lose that. So if you guys are happy with where we are, then, so are we.
And the last little teaser for you all, Simon Hall responding to a comment made about last year's festival when the fans started to panic at the news that the main stage needed to close due to high winds.
No more than we were panicking, trust me. You know what, you brought up the fans there. Can I just say, obviously it was me that went on stage and turned around and said, right, Cradle of Filth aren't playing. If you could all just take a walk over there, that'd be great. I've got to tell you, we all sat in the production room afterwards and just said, those fans were fucking incredible. And seriously, you guys are brilliant, because it's terrifying to turn around and say, look, the weather is against us. We're just going to have to take precautions for an hour or two, hopefully, in order to just let it ride. But you guys were brilliant, so big up.
By the fans, for the fans.
Okay, so that's just a few snippets from last month's live meet and greet Q&A event. Nothing too controversial in there, but you never know. The full version might have a few tasty bits. So keep an eye on the socials to find out when the full version of that is going to be available. Okay, we are rapidly heading towards the end of podcast number 87, but we can't let you go without bringing a bit of mirth into your lives. So we're going to finish off by hearing from two of the more comedic Bloodstock bands, and some of you may have seen a statement and a short video put out by Evil Scarecrow yesterday informing us that Brother Payne and Princess Luxury are sadly leaving the band. So we are shortly going to be hearing an exclusive interview with Brother Payne about that. But before that, it seems that Bloodstock 2020 band Raised by Owls have got far too much time on their hands at the moment, as they've been very busy recording their usual silliness. So first up, we're going to hear a song that they've done under the moniker of Lockdown HXC called Crowd Kill Corona, which is of course just as silly as their usual output, but it does have a serious side to it, as they are offering it for a minimum price of £1 on their Bandcamp, with all proceeds going to the Trussell Trust, who organise food banks around the UK. So have a listen to this and then head over to raisedbyowls.bandcamp.com to buy that. And don't be a stingy bugger and only pay the quid. I paid a very metal £6.66 for mine, and I would encourage you all to do the same. And then after that, well, actually, I'm going to leave that for them to explain, but essentially they have somehow convinced people like Josh from Bloodshot Dawn, Russ from Footprints in the Custard, Katie from I Saw the World Burn, H from Acid Rain's in there, Carl from Memoriam, used to be in Bolt Thrower, Ol from Evil, Pete from Lawnmower Death. There's just absolutely loads of people that have joined them in a collaborative effort, and well, it's just remarkable. So let's just check out both of those from Raised by Owls, and then get your tissues out as we hear Brother Payne's thoughts on his imminent departure from Evil Scarecrow. We'll be back soon with podcast 88 of Bloodstock Radio. So until then, look after yourselves, stay home, protect the NHS, save lives, and listen to metal.
Bloodstock Radio.
I see you running your mouth, but I don't see you washing your hands. You better recognize this is real. COVID-19. Short of breath, I'm gonna cough. Step back or I'm knocking off your block. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Thank me and I'll put you in your place. Buy all that silent round. A sanitizer, filled with alcohol. But I'm so straight edge, cause I'm just on a roll. Get it in your hands, roll it nice and tight. clean fist in the pit about to fight. If you haven't got on your toe or in stone, watch for 30 seconds so your hands are feeling dope. Take this information, stick it in your head, cause if you don't, you're not gonna understand. No, I ain't scaremongering, but get ready for the outbreak down. Self-isolate! Go kill Corona. Spit tickets in the face. Go kill Corona. Put that pussy in its place. Go kill Corona. Break its jaw with one swift kick. Go kill Corona. Get back to Peter Pan, you little prick.
Hey guys, so we're on day 6 of self-quarantine, and I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit philosophical right now. This virus is affecting the whole world, like everybody. It's affecting rich, famous celebrities and talentless plebs like you and me. But I saw this video the other day of a load of A-list celebrities singing Imagine by John Lennon.
Imagine there's no heaven. Easy if you try.
Oh, hell below us,
above us only sky.
And I just thought, wow, how abhorrent. I mean, like, that was so awful. It made me vomit everywhere. And it goes like this. Imagine there's no heaven!
It's easy if you try. No hell below us.
above us, only scorn. Imagine the people living for today. Imagine this, no countries. It is a lot to do. Nothing to kill or die for. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Hey! You may say I'm a dreamer. And the world will be worth one. I hope someday you'll join us.
And the world may live as one.
Imagine no positions. No need for greater hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer. But I'm the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will be as one.
Band chat.
Okay, so as if there isn't enough bad news around at the moment, we had some catastrophic news yesterday from the Evil Scarecrow camp. So let's head over there now, and we are talking live to Brother Dimitri Payne. How are you, sir?
Hi, Brother Payne here. It's a high five.
Yay, nice one. Okay, so well, as I say, when we saw the news breaking yesterday, we thought it was an April Fool, but apparently it's not.
No, it's not. We thought for some stupid reason, because we're an evil scarecrow, that if we put it on April Fool's Day, it'd be really funny, because then everyone will think it's April Fool's, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why we did that, I suppose because we're evil scarecrow, and it's funny in a way. It's also my birthday today. Well, I'm 38. So.
Ah, well, there you go then. Well, happy birthday to you as well.
Thanks.
I did actually have that information because just before we had this conversation, I'm going to read this out just so as you know. So so I messaged you guys earlier to just say, sorry to hear the news. Hope that you're all good. I should just mention, we haven't actually said what the news is. Yourself and Princess Luxury are departing from the Evil Scarecrow camp. So let's just get that out. But and then I got a response back saying, thanks mate. Today has been especially shit as I've just started a new job as a Morrison's delivery driver and it's my birthday. The reality of not being a rock star is hitting home quite quickly. Get me some Coke and Prozzies. So that was nice to hear from you, and I just thought we should have a bit of a chat about it as well. So no Coke and Prozzies then, I'm afraid.
Not anymore now. I'm a delivery driver, so no Coke because I'm driving a van. No Prozzies because driving a van, you can't get a Prozzie on your knob whilst you're driving around delivering sandwiches to old women or whatever. So that's the reality of life now. Yeah. No more guitar solos stood on a bar. No more getting my penis out, waving it around in front of everybody. It's just boring, real life.
Well, what can I say? I'm devastated. As I say, obviously we're in, it's got to be unusual times. It's a slight understatement at the moment, but we're in catastrophically different times at the moment. But it's obviously there's lots of other things going on. But this news was, this was devastating for a lot of people. There's a lot of the Scarecrow family replying back to it, and you've been there since the beginning. So can you tell us any more about what's going on? Obviously, you put the video out yesterday as well, but just a little bit more about what's going on.
What else can I tell you what's going on? Well, we've got some more shows left, which I will play and Princess Luxury, as long as there's no virus and everything over the next however many years. Years. Hopefully, it's over this year. Don't know how long it's going to last, mate. Do we?
No, we don't.
If the gigs are still available to happen, I will still be there, and Princess Luxury will still be there. So come along and see us. Give us a last farewell of the last few gigs, but we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, do we? I may have already played my last gig, which would be even more sadder. And there's some replacements, but I'm not going to tell you anything about those people, apart from they have mine and Princess's full blessings. They are people who we've known for a long time, so there's no bad blood with anybody at all, as you can imagine. We're all good mates.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's supported me.
All right, take your time, mate.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's been a good time. It's been a good. I've enjoyed it. I miss it all. It's caught me unawares.
Yeah, caught me unawares as well, mate. But hey.
Yeah, I suppose I've kind of avoided thinking about it too much. But yeah.
It's a long time. I mean, when did you start the band again? Remind me. 2002.
Skakestock was our first gig.
Yeah. So I would say, well, anything going out of your life after 18 years is a big thing. It is a big thing.
Yeah.
And as much as you guys are silly, you're still people. I had this chat with the guys at Bloodstock last year. Actually, I was getting a bit annoyed with sort of almost the bad press that bands like yourselves get, because people seem to think that what you do is easy, and because it's silly, they seem to think it's easy, and they don't really see all the hard work that goes into it, and all the the props that Russ and Dino make, and all that, and everything that goes into it, and the amount of rehearsals and work and everything that goes into it. And I'm getting a bit annoyed with the sort of they're just silly, which makes it somehow not valid when it is valid.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard work. It has been a lot of hard work. Like, it's not even the first time I've thought about quitting for a long time. It's always been hard work. It's been real good fun, but it's really hard work. And I'm always sort of weighed up in my head thinking things that are good are hard work. It's been real hard work. It's not been easy, I have to say. Yeah, and it's always been fun, and it has been gimmicky and stuff because people like that. But yeah, to say it's not been hard work, is not true. It is hard work. Trying to get 5 people, just us 5, let alone Dean, Russ, everyone else who's helped us, general manager, everybody are working together and trying to get all that stuff together. It's been a bloody hard work for a long time. So, yeah, I'm glad I'm going. Yeah, no more hard work.
No more hard work except for Morrison's.
Yeah, just Morrison's delivery driver. So if you're living in Nottingham and you order your food at Morrison's starting next week, I could deliver it to you.
You might even get a handstand on your doorstep. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you know who I am, I'll do it in Macau for old time's sake. Yeah.
Yeah, that can't be bad. Well, I tell you, I am obviously gutted that you guys aren't going to be there, but hopefully I'll see you at some of those shows later on in the year. And if not, I'm sure I'll see you in the crowd at a Scarecrow gig at some point as well with your little one.
Yes, yeah, mate. Yes, please do come and say hello to me, and I'll try not to cry like a big Jessie. But thanks for calling me, Paul. I've known you for a long time. It's good to speak to you.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, from everyone at Bloodstock, seriously, you guys will be sadly missed, and you've been a massive part of Evil Scarecrow, a massive part of the Bloodstock family over the last 20 years. So they will continue on, and we hope we'll see you at Bloodstock at some point yourself as well.
Yes, indeed, mate. I'll be there. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, cheers for talking to us.
Thanks, everybody. I love you all.
All right. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Antarctica, the coldest place on earth is no place for a monk. Escaped your prison cell. Did you carve a key from an inmate's leg? Why make escape in a stolen car? Does your mom know where you are? Brother Payne, why did you go to Antarctica? The coldest place on earth is no place for a monk. Brother Payne, why did you go to Antarctica? With open sandals and a tunic made of hand, stuck aboard a creaky ship. Did you pour the blood to make it sink? In the cold and the burn and the whipped house, were you the one they saw in the Hessian cow? Brother Payne, why did you go to Antarctica? The coldest place on earth is no place for a monk. Brother Payne, why did you go to Antarctica? With open sandals and a tunic made of
boring real life.
By the fans, for the fans. Bloodstock Radio.